All right, so we are live. Welcome back, everybody. Complex Mind, Simple Man, Thinking Out Loud. And I have my wonderful friend and sister, Tracy Carson, with me. Yep, yep, yep. And you see her tagline, Why is it so hot? You know, summer, summer, summertime. Um, I hear a lot of people are like, this is not the heat that I remember. I was like, well, it was hot enough to cancel the state fair, you know? And it was going off so well. It was going so well. Uh, it was, they were doing they were doing so well. I don't understand what went
I mean,
wrong.
everybody wants to line up and see an 80-year-old man spout through a speech and sing bad country music. And then with artists nobody ever listens to anymore. I mean, I don't get it.
Yeah, was it like a lady out there playing the spoons or something? It,
The
it
tap
was some
dancers, the
stuff.
stage bro. I mean, how do you screw this up? How? Well, no, I know the answer to my question.
You let him do it?
That's the answer.
Yeah, because like, if you didn't see my graphic, this is my graphic for it, right? I'm trying to learn how to use the whole AI thing. So this was actually pretty good in my opinion. I think they did a pretty good job here. Except that today is the third, and the fair has now been officially postponed. So gonna have to wait for more of that great content you were just talking about, Tracy. Um,
I mean, if Kid Rock can't do it, I mean,
Kid Rock canceled. I mean, I don't know if he canceled. I don't know if he was ever invited. Vanilla Ice canceled. Everybody canceled. Okay, and then you see the footage, and folks, just so you understand a little something. The reason why I'm even doing this right here, and it's going to be over real quick, I promise. Um, I try not to be petty. I don't like petty things. I don't like petty people. But there, for some reason, I do have a sense of satisfaction that the incredible incompetence of this administration keeps being put on display. I mean, you had the waiting pool, you had the JFK Center, you've had what other things he's had since he came up in here?
can't get the
His
Save
birthday
Act
party,
pass.
huh?
He can't get the Save Act pass.
Well, yeah, that's different. That's political, but like just him and
Oh, him personally.
giving all the money to his
He fell
flunkies.
asleep again.
Yeah, he's fallen asleep far more often than Biden even has. But we're not. We don't have all the press coverage about him being mentally infirm. Um, you know. So yeah, I'm kind of pleased to see that. Like I saw the pictures of like there's nobody at the park. Um, they have one ride apparently, a Ferris wheel, just one ride. What fair got one ride? You know,
See, unlike you, I walk in pettiness. I breathe petty. I am petty. Is petty Christ-like? Probably not. God know my heart, and I'm petty. I'm here for the pettiness. I'm here for it. I'm happy about this. First of all, who's stupid enough that didn't think, hey, it might be too hot outside to have people stand outside for you to make a 15-hour speech? Oh, sure. Just say you're going to make a speech this long and it's what, 107 degrees? Yeah, that seems like a good idea. And no spraying, no spraying of water. They couldn't have sense enough to, I don't know, plan
no
things
chairs
indoors.
and the
I
chairs.
mean, no chairs, no food, no anything. What this man couldn't even plan a pitch in. If you gave him a family reunion pitch in, he would mess it up.
I think. the reason why this type of an event fails so bad is because
Trump
it's
planned
real.
it.
Huh?
I would say because Trump is involved with it.
Well, yeah, but it's like when you truly dislike human beings as much as he does, it's hard. Like it has to be hard to do something halfway decent. And then what's even crazier is he himself isn't even doing anything. This is the result of him telling people what he wants and them still getting it wrong. Like everybody's
But here's
literally
the
just
thing.
trying to make you
What if they
happy.
were doing exactly what he asked? Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
doing exactly what he asked them to do.
They might have. He might have told them they don't need chairs, they don't need food. Get them
Because
in,
it
get them
costs
out.
what? All that stuff costs what? Money.
Money that he gets to
Trump
keep.
does not like to pay anything for any service. So it makes sense to me that they probably did exactly what he told them to do.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? So I really do enjoy the fact that all of this stuff is failing so bad. Like there was a lot of talk about when you look at the White House lawn leading up to the UFC fight and thereafter. Like if you look at it now, it's all tore up. I'm like, hey, I am so happy with it. I am like, hey, you need to throw a new event every 2 months. Like just trailer park it up. Just let's just have at it, boss. You know? But anyway, just so you guys know, the this is supposed to be the 250th birthday party for arguably one of the most disastrous nations on the planet. Um and there was a I'm going to get the names probably backwards, but there was an America 250 that was supposed to be like government wide. Congress was involved, really celebrating the nation's anniversary. And then Trump and his cronies created an alternate version of that, pushed the government out of the way, and handed all these stuff out to his partners and I want to say partners in crime, but when you get to write the laws and you get to enforce the laws, is anything really illegal?
Mm-mm.
You know, so they're doing some dastardly stuff, but it may not be illegal. So this is what America voted for, and we're getting our votes worth. That's what we're getting. We're getting our votes worth. So that was it was pretty quick. Like I said, Trace, anything you want to say about the fair?
Yes, I got a whole bunch more to say about this. Again, the man couldn't plan a pitch in family reunion. If there was a family reunion, you know how you plan a group trip? Don't put this man in charge of this was, hey, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. And it's like common sense runs away from this administration. Nobody thought, hey, it's going to be hot. So why don't we hold things indoors so that people don't pass out? Or, America's going to be 250 the whole year. Put something in the fall when the weather is much cooler so that people can stand outdoors. I don't know. Think of alternatives. Do something virtual. Nope. Don't do that. Get Kid Rock to show up at your concert. Have Vanilla Ice cancel. You got canceled by Vanilla Ice. Vanilla Ice hasn't been relevant since when did Michael
Teenage
Jackson's
Mutant Ninja
Dangerous
Turtle.
album came out? 1993? When did
Yeah.
Ice Ice Baby come out?
Well, he was relevant for a little while after that because then he had Go White Boy Go. Um,
That was that movie he did, Ice Ice Baby.
uh, well, yeah, well, it's been a minute. But hey, not to be outdone.
Morris Day and the Time. Like, really, Morris Day? Really, Morris Day. You haven't had a hit since Jungle Love. What are you talking about accepting it? And then public pressure comes and you say, oh, I better just do. No, you, Nelly, and all them other ones, nah. I take names down.
Oh yeah, when this is all said and done, man, like, you know, I remember how we treated Chrisette Michelle, and we threw her off the bus because her whole support base told her don't do this, but probably her management team said this is a great opportunity for a crossover option, and she went and we punished her. But we forgiven Chrisette. We love you, Chrisette. You're one of ours again. But anybody in this second round, I'm sorry, like you're off the team. You're off the team. So Kanye and Nelly and it hurts me to say
Snoop.
Stacey Dash, but
But at least Stacey Dash was originally on the conservative trip. So you can at least say, okay, she was in it from the get, like she was at the foundation. Some of these suckers just jumped on it, saw the money, said, ooh, let me go. And then once the public outrage, oh, I gotta cancel. And then they got back on. I'm not calling names Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent. I don't call names like that. But are you serious? We know you did. We know you canceled. Just say, oh, Left Eye and Chili of TLC.
Drake, we got Drake.
He's Canadian. He does not count.
Well, you can't say Left Eye. Left Eye dead. But
Wait a minute, Left Eye. Wait a minute. Who want to get Chili and
I
T-Bone?
don't think
T-Bone.
T-Boz. I don't think T-Boz is MAGA. She called out Chili for being MAGA. Oh.
Sorry, rest in peace, Left Eye. I thought it was Left Eye, but yeah, you're right. Left Eye is gone.
Yeah.
But Chili, I'm not MAGA. Girl, you put on a picture of Michelle Obama saying she was a man. Really?
Yeah.
And
I thought I would be more. I thought I would be more upset about losing Chili, but I'm not. I'm just,
But who would we really be upset about losing?
At this stage of the game, let's see who would upset me or whatever.
I would say it got to be somebody like a Denzel or somebody like
a Will it would have to be somebody I actually.
It has to be somebody like somebody that's up there. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, like an Idris Elba, somebody that's like top tier. I don't care about
like
D-list celebrities.
If Michael B. Jordan came out, I'd be like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, man, what's your problem?
Yeah, but Chili.
Like, Steve Harvey meeting with Trump, okay, whatever. That don't really make me no difference.
Well, see, now that's a different. I like that. That's a different thing for me, right? So, and I am no fan of Steve Harvey. I look at Steve Harvey like I look at Kevin Hart. These are two people I have no interest in or any positive feelings towards. But I would place a Steve Harvey in the camp. Now he's on the outside of the camp, like he ain't really in the crew, but like he's able to like tag along. He might, carry the luggage or something. But I can see Steve Harvey in the camp of like Ice Cube, Killer Mike, right? The ones who I see where they were coming from and I see their position. And in fact, when it comes to like Killer Mike, I have pretty much the exact same position. Ice Cube, I have pretty much the exact same position. So I would kind of put him over there. But he is deeply problematic to me. He's deeply problematic. But anyway, yeah. So that's the World's Fair.
Yeah, I was gonna say it would have to be somebody like I actually thought, what the heck are you thinking?
Who?
I mean, we killed Janet when she asked who Kamala was. I'm like, y'all really?
I didn't hear that. That happened. People went in
you
on Janet.
Missed that? When she said, oh, she's not American or something like that. And I'm like, look, Janet, next to Michael, because Michael's won.
That was back when Yeah, that's back when people were saying that she wasn't black enough.
Yeah, I'm like, she probably wasn't paying much attention. So I didn't care. Now, if Michael were alive and Michael went, oh, that's it. I'm done. I'm done. Done. It depends. I'm telling you, Same sibling, same family, but I would have two totally different reactions. I'd be like,
Really?
oh, really? Absolutely.
Because I would see both of them could plausibly be completely oblivious.
Yeah, and Michael had said, I'm MAGA. I'm support Trump. I can't even imagine
Oh no, he
like
would
the
never do
push.
that. Yeah, he would never do that. And the only reason I say that he would never do that, and I'm not even a Michael Jackson fan for real. The only reason I say that he wouldn't do that is because Michael's heart has always been consistently been about poor people and regular people. Like his whole life, he's lived it. You know what I'm saying? So the way, even if you could say like Michael will be like he's so rich, maybe he'd be concerned, but Michael was so rich that you couldn't touch his money no way. So
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
like saying, I'm like,
but
Janet being MAGA. Okay. Oh,
Janet
well,
needs her
whatever.
investments.
I was telling my sister that I said if she made a biopic, there's no way because people were. I know you haven't seen the biopic. Of course, some of us have seen it several times, but he could get away with not talking about her. She could never get away with not talking about him. There's no way she could do a biopic and not say that Michael Jackson was her brother. No, it could not
Well,
happen.
I mean, why should she? First of all, I mean, she should even mention Tito and Jermaine, you know. But yeah, she is different. Like her star was able to rise because of him, and
But
then
she,
then it's because she has so much talent that she became her own thing.
yeah,
Because the others tried it and it didn't work.
yeah, but there's no way she has a biopic and she just skips over. Oh no, nope,
No, can't do
nope,
it. Can't do it.
couldn't do it.
Plus, what is
She
there to
could
even
totally
talk
skip. She
about?
wasn't even in the Michael biopic, and everybody we was like, oh, oh, she what? We didn't even know. We was like, oh, she what? It was like we left the movie and
Oh,
then
that's
realized,
wrong.
oh,
That's not right.
I'm telling you the truth. I left the movie and then said, dang, Janet wasn't in there. Latoya was, Reby wasn't, Randy wasn't. It was like three of them missing. And I
Oh,
walked out the movie saying, huh?
that
She
right
wasn't
there.
in the American Jackson's the American, which I know you've seen that one, the very first one, the very first, but you. Oh, let's go to the next subject. How you gonna not see the Jackson's the
I'm
American
not a
Dream?
Jackson fan. Here's the reason why I didn't watch the Jacksons, the original Jackson 5 movies or whatever movie. Um, is the same reason that I don't watch a lot of what I would call black exploitation films, even though this isn't quite that. It's you know, but I have an extreme revulsion to domestic violence, like extreme. So if I know going in that that's going to be a part of the storyline, I'm not even going to go watch it. So what's love got to do with it? The Jackson story, like
But it wasn't. They showed maybe one or two scenes, but they didn't
that's all
really
right.
concentrate on.
But I know that Michael was abused. I know that Mama Jackson was abused. I know that the kids were abused in general. I know I can't get past that knowing going in. And this is somebody I can watch a shoot 'em up thriller movie all day long,
I know, I'm like the movies you watch and the shows you watch. I'm like,
but
that's
domestic
too.
violence, I just can't.
Yeah,
I just
I
can't.
get. But like I said, yeah, they said she wasn't black enough, and I'm like, but they do know Kamala Harris's mother is Indian. Did they not know that?
It doesn't matter. You know, I said
And
this
her father's Jamaican. Did they not?
yeah.
Her father's not even American. He's Jamaican,
So here's and this is the funniest thing.
and he's still alive, by the way. Everybody,
Oh,
Professor
but
Harris is.
here's the thing though, right? First of all, and I know this wasn't the subject that we were going to be hitting on, but like I really get annoyed with the somebody's not black enough argument. I really do get annoyed with that. Like even if like no, you know how I feel about Candace and Tim Scott and jokers like that. They're still black. Like you can't take from them
Yeah, you can't take it
what
from
they
their
are.
black. Now they say stupid stuff, but
Yes.
They
They
still
can be
play.
kicked out of the crew. They could be, they
Yeah, they
could be
can't come to the
rejected,
cookout.
right? They could be rejected from the family, but that doesn't mean that they can't lose their blackness. You didn't give it to them, you can't take it from them. They just the wrong kind of black, you know. But then also it's like there's this extreme overlap between MAGA and a section of Black Americans. They act the exact same way. They just have two different targets. MAGA chooses to hate immigrants because they've
And
been
black
trained
people and
to
gay
hate
people.
immigrants. But you got regular Black folks who hate immigrants for the same reason. It's like you guys are speaking the same language, but claim to be
Yep.
different. What is this? But yeah, it's something that annoyed me. It annoyed me during the race because like there are so many reasons not to like Kamala Harris. That doesn't
Her
deserve to be one of
ethnicity,
them.
that's not even one of them. But I'm just saying she's not black. I'm like, okay, Jamaican.
But see, that's
She
because that's where you get into it though, because to some Black people, they're very much concentrated in the FBA movement, but it's not just them. They look at it and say, if you're not a direct descendant of American chattel slavery, then you are not Black, right?
that would mean Obama's not black because his father was
Exactly.
from Kenya.
Exactly.
And
Because
he
Kamala Harris is exactly the same on that level as Barack Obama.
no, but you could argue that when they were bringing the slaves during the Great Passage, they did stop by Jamaica. Jamaica was in the
Right. It was
mix.
in the slave trade. Yes, I'm with you. It's just what's
Obama's
where the boat
father
stopped.
just came from Kenya. He never knew slavery.
Right. But as far as being not a direct descendant of American chattel slavery, you in Jamaica, you are a descendant of Jamaican chattel slavery. You're not a descendant of American chattel slavery. So there is a difference. Like this is where I enjoy the conversation because I think there's some value to it. But like when you say Black, sometimes we have to define what we're talking about because Black can be the diaspora, which is just anybody with melanated skin that comes from the African continent, and then there's Black as shorthand for American Black. Right? Like we came through this particular, I use the word crucible. So this is our tribe. So when you hear me say that I'm Black, I'm talking about my tribe that descends from the oppression and degradation of America, right? I'm not the same as someone whose family comes right from the continent in recent times, in the last 2 or 3 generations, because our histories are very much different. But we're both Africans, we're both Black, but the conversation can vary a little. Where I 100% can't ride with people is where there's animosity towards fellow Black people simply for where they come from. Like,
Yeah, it's like, y'all do know we attacked everywhere. It's not we should be banding together,
right?
not separate. The separation is no.
It's wild. It's like we're fighting the wrong fights. I'm not saying that there's not reasons to have frustrations with various groups, but I think that they're completely overblown and distorted because we're allowing onesie twosies, small groups of people to be representative of the whole when they're mathematically not even substantial, right? Like if you look at MAGA is roughly 30-40% of the nation. They're about 60% of white America. So if I say something about white America and MAGA, there's more of an overlap, but it's not a complete overlap. So you can't say all white people. You know what I'm saying? Like it loses what you're after when you do it, And then when you're talking about the immigrant story, that the math gets even smaller. So it's like, why are people fighting each other over like nation of origin when we have poverty struggles and we have healthcare struggles and we have representation in government and business and everything. But you mad because this Joker just his mama's from
Yeah. He came from Mexico, got a job under the table, getting paid way less wages, but yet he's stealing your job. Oh, make it
yeah,
make sense.
yeah. Why are you mad at the
They put them
person?
in a hotel. And I'm like, you do realize if they, let's just say nobody's ever been able to prove this, but let's just say they're putting them up in hotels. They're doing it to cause a wedge between the communities. I don't know why you don't realize that.
Right. I mean, the Asian community has been used as a wedge against us. Immigrants in general have been used as a wedge against us, and we're always falling for it because we get ignored and we get abused by everyone, like everyone. So we have a gripe against everybody. So it makes it really easy for us to get stirred up and end up doing, in my view, what many people call white supremacy. You end up doing their job for them, right? They just kind of wind you up, point you at a target, and let you go. And
Right. It's kind of like how MAGA gets distracted by issues that really I don't care if a transgender person wants to. I don't care. I
yeah,
literally don't care if I'm going into a bathroom. First of all, in Europe, the bathrooms are intersect. They're mixed. They don't have men's restrooms or women's restrooms. They just have restrooms.
yeah,
I
go to
don't
battle.
care who's sitting in the stall next to me. I'm going to a public restroom for one reason only: make a deposit, wash my hands, get the heck out. I don't care. I don't care if they play sports. I don't care if they have jobs. I don't care if they have housing. I mean, they should have all of those things, right? But what I'm saying is, we got to be smart and stop being distracted by stupid stuff. I'm like, we should be concerned 3 millions of black women lost their federal jobs.
Mhm.
Unemployment is twice the level in the black community than it is in any other community.
Always.
Always. You mean to tell me you gonna sit here and argue with me about whether men should play women's sport? Nah, I got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about the one kid in the whole state that want to play soccer.
And I'm like, okay.
I'm not going to be mad at this kid. First of all, it's a child. So I'm one of those people who be like, all children should be protected and cared for. All children. The good ones, the bad ones, all of them. Right? But I guess that's just
And we're easily distracted.
we are. And I think the reason we're so easily distracted is because there's so much to be distracted by. You know, when you operate in a place of scarcity, distractions, they give you something to focus on, you know, and not only do they give you something to focus on, but it builds community because we can hate this thing together. And I think that's a big part of it. In fact, I'm sure that that's a big part of it. But hey, let's because I want to be judicious with our time. So let's go ahead and talk about what I know you got some thoughts on. And the now I'm going to couch this a little bit and then I'm going to let you loose. So now the Democratic elites, the leadership, are losing their minds. And all of their flunkies across media are losing their minds, trying to scare people about this thing called the DSA that's creeping out of the cities and is going to take over the nation, right? What I find most hilarious about this is they're doing exactly what you told them to do. The leadership said, if you don't agree with how things are going, then get involved and help change things. And so they're doing it. and they're
Mm-hmm.
doing it as Democrats, right? And because they say they're democratic socialists, the focus falls on socialists. It completely omits democratic. Same thing they did to Bernie Sanders, right? So to me, Bernie Sanders, AOC, Corey, Bush, that crew, they were the original progressives. And I compare them to the Tea Party. They were the first ones that came in. They were disruptive, highly idealistic, but they didn't really accomplish much. Now DSA comes behind them. And this, I'm wondering, what do you think? Do you think it's a fair comparison to say that Tea Party became MAGA as it became more extreme, and now progressives are becoming DSA as they become more? I don't like the word extreme when it comes to the left, because what's so extreme about wanting people to eat? but
Yeah,
but
and have health care. How dare
right,
you?
that is like, whoa, right? But and then I'll stop. I remember like people in the third party area would constantly talk about blue MAGA. Well, I don't think this is what y'all meant when you were saying blue MAGA. I think y'all talking more about the rank Democrats who just follow the corporatists and do whatever. And you better not criticize Obama. You better not criticize Biden. And you call that blue MAGA. I think, I don't know, but DSA technically would be more akin to MAGA than that was. We,
Okay, so I'm gonna disagree with you. So here's what I would say. First of all, I didn't talk about this on my show, but I gotta start off with the Republicans sending Hakeem Jeffries roses the day after the elections in New York City was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I
I'm
didn't hear
sorry.
about that.
That was, I'm like, you know what? That's a level of pettiness I aim for. I aim to be that petty. That was super petty. I'm
They
like,
know how to troll, boy.
they don't know how to take it, but boy, that was funny. Here's what I will say about DSA, because I still have concerns about DSA. One, in my dream world, DSA would just be its own party, because the Democratic establishment has proven they don't want to listen. They have this contingency of people rising up saying, no, we need to be talking about healthcare, we need to be talking about the economy, we need to be talking about uh,
Ending the wars.
getting rid of food deserts, we need to be talking about real issues. And all the established Democrats want to do is fund Israel. Let's just keep it a buck. That's pretty much what they want to do. And they want to line their pockets. So in my dream world, DSA would just be like, we're the socialists of America. However, on the flip side of that, it's hard to criticize a party that you're not a part of, even though I used to be part of the Democratic establishment. So I feel like I have more of a stance in criticizing them. They're choosing to change, and I don't know how effective they'll be in doing this, because I think their convention is going to spill out in the streets personally. They're choosing to change the party within.
Right.
They're choosing to change it within the party instead of doing what I think they should do and just leave the party and let the Chuck Schumers and the high key just get rid of them. That's what I think should happen. But I'm not a democratic socialist. I think it's amazing to me, especially with Mondani. And it's like they said, oh, he's going to bring, first of all, learn the difference between communism and socialism.
Mm-hmm.
Fox News. Please know communism is not socialism, and socialism is not communism. First,
I saw a Democrat podcast recently that used communist to describe it. So it's a fear tactic. That's
yeah,
all it is.
obviously, I'm like, and what makes communism bad? Because we don't have a democracy. If you want to just keep it a buck,
What
yes,
we
we go
do.
to vote. We have an oligarchy that's controlled by money.
But so that's where
The,
it's super important to
the
look at the
Epstein
different
class
terms.
controls politics. They write the laws, they lobby, they control everything. It ain't us.
Well,
So
yes and no. So, like, first of
we can
all,
change it. We have an apparatus to change it, like just get rid of everybody. Yes.
and we don't do it. So
And
that's
we don't do it.
it's on
Yeah, that's
us.
kind of our fault. Right.
But
What I'm saying, what I'm getting to is this. I'm saying again, it's hard for me to say how successful I think they will be. I do see a split coming because if you listen to, I'm not gonna call him Skeletor. No, I didn't. James Carville and
oh, that guy.
Donnie. If you listen to them talk, I'm like, learn how to read the room. Your, they don't
He's a
even, and
conservative.
I'm talking. Yeah, I'm talking about the established Democrats. They don't listen to what their own supporters are telling them. Democratic voters, I'm not a Democrat, but Democratic voters are telling this party, hey, don't take APAC money, don't take J Street money, don't take PAC money. What does this party do? Oh no, we're gonna take it. Learn how to read. They don't know how to read the room.
No, they
They
can't.
tell
They read the room.
they know they if they read the room, they would change their stance.
Nope, they wouldn't. Here's where this is where
Well, I
that
can see you could say that because they're beholden to the money.
yeah, because I'm gonna say this is where the whole uniparty idea does come into play, right? Because and you know how I feel about when people say two wings of the same bird and all that. I'm not gonna go back into that, but this is where that overlap does occur because both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party ignore their voters.
Yes, they sure do.
Both of them completely ignore the voters. They they literally look down on their voters. They don't like them. So the moment they have your vote, they
You're
aggressively
done
turn away from you. Aggressively.
until the
And
next election cycle comes
until the
up.
next cycle. And because they keep the desperation and the stress so high among the rest of us, when that next election comes around, it's not that we forgive it, but we don't feel like we have a choice. So then we end up having to go right back into the mill, right? And they rely on that. They're very cynical people. And so like one of the things I often like to say is I like to use Biden's election period as my biggest example of why both parties need to fall apart and go away because neither of them are serving their people. But I used to say I wanted the Republicans to go away first. I am now at the point I want the Democrats to go away first. I don't care what happens to the Republicans because they're gonna fall apart just because they're becoming so xenophobic. They're literally starving
Yeah,
themselves.
they're just doing it. You don't even have to wait for it. It's like, yeah, a couple more
They're
years, they can
losing
go.
membership every day, right? But on the Democratic side, that party needs to literally go away from my point of view because in that last election, the Republicans effectively said, we are going to use democracy. We're going to use all the levers and tools of democracy to destroy democracy. And then the Democrats said, we're going to suspend democracy. Democracy isn't working right now. We need to pause real quick. We know what's best. We're going to skip democracy for a moment so we can save democracy. What they both just said is neither one of them wants democracy.
Exactly. And I want to read something that Jamie Harrison, for you guys who don't know, he used to be the chair of the DNC.
DNC,
And
yeah.
this is where I'm like, really, Jamie? So Harrison publicly stated on, I'm going to say Twitter, if you hate the Democratic Party, then please don't run for our nomination. Adding that candidates shouldn't use party resources, volunteers, or infrastructures if they have contempt for all the people who make it possible. Hey, Jamie Harrison. See, there's these things they're called people. And when people show up to vote for who they want, that's the people speaking. Perhaps, you may have to invest in getting your side to the polls so that they're not outnumbered by who you're calling. How dare they? You're telling them, hey, like you said, you're dissatisfied with the party changing, and then when they run, oh, you can't run, you're using our resources. Basically, what you want them to do is sit down, shut up, don't
And just
say
go the line.
anything, don't rock the boat, keep taking the money, do what we tell you when we tell you, jump when we say jump. That's basically what
Give me
he
your
should have
vote,
said.
and I'll do what I know is already right. And
Yeah, I'm
and
gonna
that's
do.
that's basically what they want us to do. And Jamie Harrison is a tool of it all. You know, whatever the guy's name what was, the guy, the off-brand Obama. Um,
Um, Cory Booker or here Jeffries.
Jeffries, yeah. Cory Booker, oh gosh, he's like, what a waste of skin. Um, but anyway, they're all puppets, and they're happy to be puppets because they're well paid puppets. And sorry, people probably won't agree with me here, but to me, Raphael Warnock is the exact same thing, right? Because what we did was we sent just a few in there. And if you just send a few in there, they got two choices: get ran up out of there or become a part of it. And every last one of them decided to become a part of it. Because how do you just give up all this access and these perks, right? So that's the thing. So I'm like, okay, obviously you guys, in my view, will use you as seat fillers and will flood the zone. This is one of two ways. First one is change the system from within. I think both of these need to run simultaneously. So DSA decided we're going to do change it from within, the Bernie strategy. We're going to make it clear that we're against the entire Democratic Party, but we're going to run as a form of Democrat, right? So now we're in there. And because we ran as a form of a Democrat, the fact that we're winning means the party is supposed to get behind us, right? Because if we were losing, the party would tell us to go away. So we're winning, so the party should, at minimum, not attack us. Okay, that's the DSA approach.
Yeah, and that's where I think it's wrong. But continue.
Yeah, so that's that part. And I say, I question, I wonder if that's worth it, because what I've always seen, or my opinion has formed, is that when you try to change a system like this from within, you ultimately will get some concessions, provided you get some victories, but you'll never get change, right? Because the machine will see you and it'll say, wow, this intrusion, we tried to kill it, it didn't work. We tried to push it out, it didn't work. It's here now, so let's give it some things, right? AKA Voter Rights Act, AKA Civil Rights Act, right? Let's give it some things to get them to calm down a little bit. But we're going to keep doing what we do, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's one path. Now, I think that there's some good to that. Those concessions are concessions, but they're not changes. And in order to get the changes, though, this is where I stepped out of that world and I'm more involved. I'm more interested in the third party. But gosh, it's hard to deal with the third party. But I'm more interested in third parties because I do like the more disruptive thing, which is I don't want to reform the Democratic Party. If you could reform it, it would have been reformed. It's at the point it needs to be changed, right? We don't need to make the Democratic Party better. We need something better than the Democratic Party. And that's where I operate in that lane, right? So honestly, if DSA is real, they will probably accomplish much more than I could ever accomplish on the outside.
And here's the thing: is that it's just so ironic that the establishment like look at who let's just look at Mondami because I got to use him. He
in
was the
his
first
crew.
one to
Yeah.
kind of hit the when he won when 8 of the candidates he endorsed they all won. Oh, this can't be. This is not going to replicate across the country. Here comes Michigan. Here comes Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's making the establishment so angry. They thought it was just going to stop at New York,
Stay in New
and that
York.
was just going to be it. And this is just for New York. No, this can be, with some adjustments because Kansas is not the same as New York City. It's just not. But you can make the adjustments and say, hey, people in Kansas need affordable child care. People in Kansas need um, government run
Healthcare,
grocery store, health care. And so what's
clean
happening
water.
is clean water, basically, just basics. And so I think what's happening is they realize, to me, they know the gig is up. They know there's a split that's about to happen, and they can't do a darn thing to stop it. And that's why you use our resources. Well, you sat on billions of dollars, and I'm going to go back to 2024.
Resources that the same people who voted for them help give you.
Yes.
Those aren't
The
your
same
resources.
people that the volunteer went out there and raised money for you and did all these things and went to all these meetings. When you raise $1 billion and your opponent only raises 800 million, I know that's just ridiculous money. When you raise $1 billion, don't tell me you don't have money for resources. I don't want to hear it. I want you to say no. Don't you say nothing. You have enough money to one, run commercials. You can have volunteer canvassers. I used to be a knock on doors, but you
Mhm.
didn't do that. I say it's because they wanted to lose, but nobody's ready for that type of
Well,
conversation
I
yet.
think they did. I think the power brokers, right? The leaders, they like being in the minority because
Yes, because
there's no responsibility.
there's nothing to do. So I don't gotta do
Yeah.
nothing.
And
It's
for them,
them.
they get the same money. If not, they might even get more money because people are gonna try to fund their being the opposition, right? So that's one of the reasons they're so upset is because all this turmoil that's happening, it can get in the way of their personal individual wealth.
And another thing that they're upset about, and we didn't talk about this, APEC put their claws in all of these races, and all the candidates that they supported lost.
Mhm.
That's a bigger point that proves to me something I've been saying all the time. What stops voter suppression? What stops APEC? High voter turnout. It'll stop it
Yes,
every
but
single time.
that's where we always get stuck
Yeah,
because
we did stuff, but it'll stop it.
no, hear me out. Like the the problem is all the games that are being played to suppress the vote. The way to overcome that is massive turnout, right? But the way to get massive turnout is to have an actual message and have actual people who champion the message. So
Right, but
what
yeah, that's my point. Is all the candidates, all the DSA people that won, they all had a
have a message.
message, had a distinct message. All of them except for one won their election. And even that one that did lose, she didn't lose by very much. I mean, it was
I
like
think
maybe 5%. I'm like, oh, okay, she didn't lose by that much. And I think that's what's scaring them because now they're like, oh, well, eh, APAC and J Street and Big Pharma and Big Tech and crypto, it
yeah,
can't, what are we going to do now?
voters are showing that the vote does matter. Despite what everybody
Yeah,
always tries to say to you to keep you from voting, and all the lazy naysayers who love, and they'll probably be in my comment section there, they love to say that it don't matter if you vote. They've already chosen a winner and all that dumb stuff. But the fact that you have Democrats winning in red areas shows you that your vote does matter. And people will vote different if they're hurting enough to vote different. What I think is getting missed, though, which is why I was talking about the whole MAGA overlap, is I personally don't think that this is about Trump. And I don't think this is about Mamdani. I don't think this is about DSA. I don't think this is about MAGA. What I think this is really about is things have deteriorated so bad that people want a change, right? Like if you look at our election history, we would swing from red to blue, red to blue, red to blue, right? But now things are swinging ideologically, where people are, I don't trust either party, but I need somebody to come out and actually act like they're a real person and they're going to do something. Even if it's unrealistic, just sell it to me. So that's how a Trump wins. And that's how a Mamdani can win. That in its own way is a problem, but it's also maybe a good thing, because that's why I think, and I know this will never catch on, so I'm just going to toot my own horn for a second. That's why I think my party platform makes the most sense, because it's really about being an American. And that's what people really are kind of after right now. And they tried Trump. Didn't work. Trump was all about himself. They should have known that, but they were desperate.
Yeah, I mean, he literally told them. And then they were like, oh, well,
but
he's racist like I'm racist,
because,
so let me go vote for him.
Yeah, because what they were voting was against same old, same old. That's what they were voting. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he's a crook, but he'll be my crook, right? That's how a lot of them were looking at it, because they were looking at the same way the third parties look at the Democrats. So let's be real about it. We're not trying to vote for same old, same old. Y'all got nothing. We've tried you too, and you didn't do anything, right? So they looked at Trump, and at least he was saying something different. And some people, was enough people to get them to be temporarily insane, I suppose, and go that way. But now Mamdani is coming in, and he's also making these kind of these statements, and he's delivering on some of them. Now, the trick is going to be how long lasting some of these changes can be. Because like he's doing a universal childcare thing. Fortunately, he's in a rich state, in a rich city, but the time will tell, right? Because there's a lot of games that can be played to undermine him. Plus, there's just ways it could go wrong, right? You need something like this to happen at a national level. But at least New York is going to offer a test case. California has had a number of test cases to show you, here's some ways they work, and here's some ways they don't work, and here's how it ends up hurting by having to increase taxes here and there. New York is doing the same thing. But if we did this on a national level, childcare and healthcare would be a given. It's be pennies on the dollar. But we'd have to do it nationally.
Yeah, and I was wanting to read something else, because our boy James Carville, Lord have mercy, I just got
like
lost this one.
I ain't liked him.
James Carville, who was relevant way back when Bill Clinton was president, like what, 20 years ago?
1992.
Maybe? Yes, that's when I graduated high school. Yes, Bill Clinton was president the year before I graduated high school in 93. So that's been 30-some years. Urged Democratic lawmakers to shun new Democratic socialists entering Congress, with longtime liberal strategists saying that socialists have bogus ideas that will torpedo the party's chances with the average American voter. He not reading the room. People are saying,
he is,
hey,
though. He's just not in the room that we're in. So here's how I think we should deal with this. We have a say in this, but the candidates, here's how you push back on a Carville and the whole Democratic establishment. It's going to be very messy and loud, but I think it'll actually get you more votes. Make them sit down and have a roundtable discussion or a face-to-face debate, and we can debate the ideas. We can debate the merits, right? Because now it's not just you taking shots at community grocery stores. Now it's going to be, what's your alternative? I'm putting this idea out there. I'm saying that we can go out here as a city and we can fund 3 grocery stores across the entire city. Just 3 grocery stores across the whole city. It'll cost us X millions of dollars and it'll raise X millions of dollars. And now you're saying that's a bad idea. Don't just tell me it's a bad idea. What's your alternative? And make them have that conversation. Make them do it. And I think that would definitely get you views. Also, it'll raise money. And then it may get you it'll almost certainly get you some votes, because a lot of people who are sitting out, and more people are sitting out right now. A lot of people who are sitting out would be like, okay, I can vote for that guy or that lady.
And it's like, you say they read the room, but apparently they missing something. If 66% of Americans identify with socialism, and you say no, go keep to the center. That's not where the American people are.
But it's where they are. And the American people can't stop them as far as they're concerned. So that's what I'm saying. He's reading the room that he's in, because the room that you're talking about, he don't even want to be in that room. His job is to keep y'all out the room. So like that's what he's on, you know. And it's just as another thing, and this will end up coming out if we could get people to have more engaged discussions. A lot of people who are always talking about the socialism thing, they don't even know what it is.
They have no idea.
I'm talking about the people who are pro-socialism. They don't even know what it is.
No, that's what I'm saying. They don't know what it is.
So
they really don't. You realize Social Security is socialism?
Well, not only that, but like when people are saying like
teachers' salaries, roads, highways.
Yeah, we live in a hybrid model.
Fire hydrants.
And since people don't want to acknowledge the fact that we're in a hybrid model, they latch onto extremes. They latch onto, first of all, the counterpart to democracy is communism. It's not socialism. Communism is a government style, just like democracy is a governing style. Socialism is a counterpart to capitalism. It's an economic model, right? So you can have, that's why you have democratic socialist people. If you come across this, Democrat, that's your governing strategy. Socialist, that's your economic strategy. They're bringing the two together. That's why they're called democratic socialists, you know, and people miss that and they latch on to the whatever word scares them the most. And they've been taught here in America anyway, which is fading because no one's learning anything anymore. So that's a good and a bad thing. But remember when we were coming up, Tracy, if you heard socialism, it immediately equaled communism, which immediately equaled Russia. Like that was like all the bridges were built. You all had to hear one word and you were running the rest of the way down the line. And you knew Russia bad. That was it. And then you got MAGA, who has blurred the line on is Russia bad. You got even those of us on the left, we look at Russia and be like, they're not as bad as people make them out.
They're terrible, but are they really any worse than the U.S.? I mean,
right.
If it's a race to the bottom, I think we're winning.
Right. Like, they're bad. They're not doing all the right things. But are they worse than us?
I don't think anybody is as bad as we are.
Well, Russia invaded Ukraine. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. We invaded Iran. Well, that's different.
Afghanistan.
Okay, what about Iraq?
Lebanon.
Right? Because you can make a weird case for Afghanistan, even though truly you shouldn't be able to make much of a case for Afghanistan because it should have been Saudi Arabia because that's where the people came from. But Saudi Arabia is your ally, so you didn't want to mess with them. So you invaded Afghanistan because you didn't think they could fight back. And 20 years later, we were still chilling. So like the whole global politics thing is a mess. But
and you have to pay attention to. But I think the thing is, Did I'm gonna make a bold prediction. I know nobody's well, no, I'll wait till Sunday to do. I am waiting to see how Democrats will mess up the midterms. I think they're going to do something stupid. I just feel it coming because the establishment keeps being stupid. I'm like, are you not listening to yourself? It's like you're saying words, but you're
I'll tell you exactly what they're going to do. Kamala Harris is going to announce her run for 2028 before the vote comes in for 2026.
I don't think she runs.
I
I
think
do
she's
not
trying,
think she runs. I don't think she
and I think
runs.
the establishment would love to have her.
Well, the establishment would love to have her, but I don't think she runs. Mm-mm.
So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that's what she's going to do.
Just substitute her name with Pete Buttigieg, because that's who I think is going to announce.
I think he would try to run, but I don't think he would be dumb enough. And I'm not saying Kamala's dumb, but I am saying that she is doing all the telltale signs of someone who's trying to read the room and be everything to everybody right now. Which is one of the reasons why she never really catches on, right? She's like, she has no flavor.
Talent.
Yeah, she's no flavor. Like, you don't quite know. She's everything to everybody, which means you're nobody
And
to
you
anybody.
can't be. Yeah, you can't be.
You know? But
Because they
Buttigieg,
were all about, yeah.
he's politically savvy enough that if he does decide to run, he won't say anything until after these elections are over.
I don't think she runs. I literally I can't see it. Well, you can see that she doesn't have Joe Biden holding her back. Now that we can both agree upon. We can
So
both
long
agree
as he's
that
alive, she has Biden holding her back.
I don't think he matters as much as people think he does.
No, he himself doesn't matter as much, but he is still a living president. And so the Democrats are really, really, really big on appearances. So she could still be a little tied down. She'll be more free with her mouth, with some of the things she says, but she won't go all in. And that's part of her problem. Plus,
And
even if she did go all in, who would believe her at this point?
Because you changed. Yes, she changed her stance on Medicare for all. She was for it. Now she's against it. Is she going to go back towards it?
Right.
She was for fracking, then came out against fracking. Now she's back for, like, where do you stand on anything? It's like you take your finger and do, like, okay, where's the wind? Where's the wind going? This is
And
why I don't think she runs. I literally don't.
I really hope she does not. I hope that she gets enough internal polling that says, you know what, you were done wrong. You should have had more of a shot in 2020, whatever year it was, 24.
But just think about it. If she had said one sentence, if she had just said no more weapons to Israel, we'd be having an entirely different conversation.
Possibly. Because that could also have gone very, very wrong, because she would have been drawing a line against America's biggest ally right in the middle of this situation. So she would have lost either way.
Yeah,
her problem was her answer was dumb.
Well, there was a dumb answer, but think about the anti-Israel sentiment and not anti-Semitic, but it was starting. It was starting,
but saying that you're not going to fund Israel now, far more safe than saying it back then. Because back then, October 7th, had just happened. And so they were milking it for all it was worth. Now you have October 7th, yes, but then you have 3 years of genocide right behind it. So it's like, it's a lot easier now to be like,
I think
nah, we ain't back in Israel.
Different conversations.
Huh?
I think we'd be having an entirely different conversation.
I think the only way we would have had it, first of all, I think the only way we would have had a different conversation would have been if Biden and his handlers and the party had placed the party and the voters above their individual nonsense. And Biden had said, you know what? I wanted to run for a second term, but I just don't think that's the right thing for America right now. I'm going to step down, and we're going to have the party. Not step down, but I am going to focus on being the president, the best president I can be for the remainder of my term. And We're going to let the next tier of Democrat leadership come out here and prove themselves to America and see who comes behind me. That's what should have happened. But if
No,
that
what should have happened was when he won election, he should have just stayed to his I'm gonna run for one term,
he never
dropped it,
promised that.
didn't run for re-election, then waited till the last possible minute, then
I agree with that.
dropped.
I agree
I'm
with
like,
that.
dude, you should never have ran for re-election. Let's get that.
I agree with that. That's why I'm saying, like, the way this would have been different was
You mean
before.
actually have a primary?
That's what I'm saying. But I find it kind of, tongue in cheek funny, though, that some of the same people who are hung up on not having a real primary never would have voted for a Democrat anyway. So it does, but they should have had the primary. He should have just made it clear that I'm just going to finish my term. And then
I'm gonna be a one-term president, be done with it, and out.
that's what he should have done. The last, like, whatever lead up to that time frame.
Or he should have sat down, let Kamala be president and her run for re-election.
That would have been the best way for Kamala to have won an election. But I think if we had had a primary, which is what people like to pretend that they care about, because I say they pretend. Most folks, y'all don't care about if we had a real primary. But if we did have a real primary, Kamala would not have come out of that as a winner.
Oh, she's a terrible debater.
She's not a terrible debater, but she ain't good.
Tulsi
She's not a good
Gabbard wiped the
politician.
floor with her.
Who?
Tulsi Gabbard wiped the floor with her.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but I'm sure that happened because our debates aren't real. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is sound bites. It's all sound bites the whole way through. And if you're not good at that, you're not going to do well. And so that's why, because I think of Kamala and I think of her time grilling people in front of Congress.
As a United States Senator, that's when she was at her best. That's when she was at her best.
Right.
Vice President, girl, wrap it up. I mean, you the first female and you the only female vice president we've ever had. Props to you. I'm gonna get me as a third party person. I'm gonna give props to you. You was the first and only female vice president we've ever had. But girl, her at her best was United States Senate. That was her at her best.
I think that her skill set, she would have been a very good president. She would have been a much better president than, because our campaign system does not speak to the job. Like, there's nothing about our campaigning process that speaks to you being a good president. So I think her actual skill sets, and, however people might feel about it, Hillary Clinton's, her skill sets are the ones that are exactly what I would want as a president. I'm not asking for you to be the best person. I'm asking for you to be an amazing politician. And that's what they are. But the problem is our election process is a personality contest. And if you ain't got the right personality, you ain't getting it. And I don't like
personality. Obama had personality.
He had personality. Trump had personality.
Reagan had personality.
Everybody who's won has had personality, except maybe Biden. But the thing about Biden was
he was so
a dutiful soldier.
Yeah, he was there so long, he kind of like absorbed.
He was a good soldier. He was a guy who knew how to be in the background. He also knew how to be in the front. He was a good politician. And his competition was Trump, who just did that, whatever the thing, the insurrection. So, yeah, he won. Right, but he should have just done the one term.
I still say he should have resigned. Like, once after that debate, that terrible debate he had, it was too late by then. I was like, oh, Trump. I knew Trump was going to win. After the railroad workers weren't allowed to go on strike, I'm like, oh yeah, Trump is going to win.
See, I disagree because I think the way that Biden managed the railroad strike was good. because at the end of the day, he was able to get both sides some stuff and get the stuff going. And that's exactly what you want them to do. I think the Biden lost when
He hid
that
down in his
debate was
bunker for
done.
3 months.
Like that
Oh,
debate was done.
debate.
But
It was
but before that, we were all losing faith in him, and we were like, y'all get him off the field, man. Get him off the field. He's thrown
and
6
Trump's not any
interceptions.
better. Like, bench this. Trump is 80 years old.
Yes.
The man eats McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yes.
He does not know what a vegetable is.
And he's gonna live for quite some time. And he's gonna live crazy for quite some time. So we're stuck with this guy. But I knew that he was gonna win sometime before that terrible debate. But I did it. I knew that just because I know what I expect of this country, and all the signals were there. They did not want another black person in office right now. And then you add to that a black person who's a woman, and you add to that a black person who's a woman who's married to a white guy. Like, so many things.
And she's not a mother. She's not a
so
mother.
Many things. And see, arguably, I think she is a mother. I know she is a mother because she has children. She just didn't birth them.
I agree with you. But yeah. I'm talking about super conservatives. She never gave birth to a child. How does she get to speak about autonomy? Okay, they don't know the word autonomy.
It's crazy. Because they'll look at a woman and say, she never had to care for a child. How could she care for a country? You ain't never said that about nan dude, never.
Men have caused 99% of every war, and you've never questioned a man. Oh, okay.
I think men have caused every war, and the wars that you could say we didn't cause, we did it over a woman. So
I'm trying to give y'all that 1%. I'm really trying, but I'm like, I cannot think of a war that a woman actually, and I'm talking about from the Bible to now. I'm like, okay, what woman is actually out here starting wars? But yet our leaders, like, you'll hear women, not men, because I expect a man to say, oh, she a woman, I can't follow. You will have Republican women
wouldn't vote for her.
Will look at you in the face and say women have no business leading. Are you kidding me, ma'am?
You got women who are saying that women shouldn't be in charge of anything.
Of anything, not their house, not their life, not their bodies, not their anything. Sit down and let some man who's not black or who's not white or who's not Indian, who's not Hispanic, who's not, just do whatever white people tell you. Mm-hmm. Because we know best. I'm married to him. See, he knows.
Yeah, that's and you know, we can go down a whole nother angle with it, but I'm not going to. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell. That's really what's going
women,
on.
We are our own worst enemies.
Well, I think your worst enemy are men, and then right behind us will be y'all.
Now, we are our work because we put up with what men do, and then we excuse the wrong that they do and say what they're doing is right.
That is a very true statement. But I'm thinking about physical harm. We hold the title there.
Oh, I'm talking about psychological. I mean,
but psychological and emotional. Yeah, y'all hold the belt. Y'all got the belt on that. Every man who's got any sense knows that you do not go into battle against a woman on emotional grounds. You will lose. You will lose. Except for some of these guys now, they're a little bit more spicy. But anyway, that's really all I had. Was there anything any other thing you wanted to bring up? And
yes, I do. Yes, I am so. How can I say this? Because I'm not scared. Nothing scares me. But I don't understand, and maybe you can explain this to me. There's so much going on with our economy, with our gas prices, with our food prices, with everything that's going on. And yet there are people that say, I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to show up. And I'm just like, what? And I'm starting to hear, because I'm part of a group, and I'm not going to talk about the group I'm part of or call their names out, but they'll contend that using voting as a way of changing is not the right answer. And while I agree with that on some points, I don't agree with, okay, I'm just not going to vote at all. They're saying don't vote at all because, and I'm like, no, because you have to have rules, you have to have government, you have to have, because without government, a society will crash. You have to have rules, you have to have prisons, you have to have those things. And so it's really, I don't know. I guess I just don't know anymore. And I'm just like, well, what is it that I can say? Because I know what I want to say, but I don't think what I want to say is appropriate. Because what
Well,
I want to say is keep on being a fool. It's going to get to the point. Yeah, because see, you can't just walk up people. Why should I vote? Keep on being a fool. That's not going to suffice. I can say more than that. But I feel like I should be doing not running for office. Let me put that out there. I'm not running for office.
Tracy for governor.
I literally feel like I could win. I even as a third party can't because Indiana's messed up from the top to the bottom. But the only city I know is Indianapolis, and there's a lot of anti-Indianapolis sentiment around the state.
Tracy for
Because
mayor.
there's actually a candidate for mayor that I think I'm going to support her, even though she's a yeah, she's a whew, I done come a long way, y'all. I done come a long way. There's a Democrat who I'm looking at. I'm not gonna say I support her yet, but I'm looking at her candidacy. And I'm like, all
Well,
right,
to your question, um, it's actually a very complicated thing. So, because I advocate from the third party lens, because I live in two worlds, as I said in my video. From a third party lens, I advocate for um, not voting for the federal level and really making these next two elections all about your local candidates. But that's very hard. That's like telling someone to go from second grade math to ninth grade math.
right,
So that's difficult, and you need a lot more cohesion before that can make good sense, and we don't have it. So I am actually part of that crowd that would look at this and say, at this stage of the game, speaking as a black person, there's no harm in just completely withdrawing, just completely local, federal, completely withdrawn. Well, there's not no harm is not the right answer. There is harm. So I guess that's why I'm split on this because it's very complicated. On one level, I say you need to always vote local because you can change local elections, because local elections are more a reflection of where you live, and odds
right,
are where you live is surrounded by people who look and or believe very much like you do.
right,
So to keep those who are amongst you who are adversarial to your well-being from getting an outsized vote, you have to go vote, right? The reason why the worst people around you are not winning is because the rest of you are voting. So you're not getting what you want because you're not making sure you have qualified good candidates, but you are, by voting, keeping yourself from getting what you don't want. And that's a hard message to present to someone, because imagine me making that exact same argument, which I've done many times, to you as a third party voter. What I've just basically said to you was harm reduction, and you don't agree with that. So automatically that would fall apart, right? The other part is to tell someone that they just need to go vote, they're not always people who don't know any better. Uh, More often than not, I would say in the current environment, you're going to be running into people who are saying that voting doesn't matter. I'm not going to waste my time going out there to vote. And they've actually been paying attention. So that when they say to you, well, I didn't vote for Trump and he won. So why should I go vote? Or um, we
And
we all believe
yeah,
that the voting machines have been tampered with. Nobody can prove it because the criminal has the keys. But like all the arguments are there for why not. So for me, I am shifting gears and I'm speaking less about third parties, even though that's where I think we need to go next. And I'm definitely, when I'm talking to the Black community, my focus is if you're not going to vote, what are we going to do instead? Because it's going to get worse. And if you
right.
are going to vote, what are you going to do on top of that? Because it's going to get worse. We're at a stage where I don't care what you do, it's going to get worse. So vote if you want to vote. Don't vote if you don't want to vote. This is me. Vote if you want to vote. Don't vote if you don't want to vote. But we got to do something. We have to either start educating our own children aggressively. We got to start making sure that the churches are better funded so that they can make sure they can help feed our families and feed our elders. You got to do something to
And yes,
prepare
that's what I'm
for
getting at.
the
Because
storm.
the people who I run into with that cement, they aren't doing any. They aren't starting soup kitchens. They aren't collecting cans. They aren't cleaning up their
They're hiding.
neighborhoods. They aren't ministering. They're just doing nothing, but
Yes.
yet still complaining. That's where I think my disconnect is.
But when you're speaking with them, though, are you presenting them or challenging them with the alternatives and some choices? Because what I've encountered and what I've observed is oftentimes those of us like me and you, we don't present the other side. We pretend like the other side doesn't exist. We just basically say, well, look, guys, you got to have your voice heard. If they're ignoring you, then you got to scream louder. You got to, instead of you just going to the polls, make sure you take two people with you, or make sure you know a little bit more about the people on your ballot, or make sure that when you're talking about local elections, there might be a third party or independent person that if we just get behind them, they could actually win. Right? We only have the discussion down the line of voting, and we leave the other part off because I guess maybe we think if we entertain it, we'd be
Right,
advocating for it.
right.
And I'm saying start with where you want to go, which is where you're more comfortable. Hey guys, this is why you need to vote. And here are the ways it can work. And here are some strategies to get something out of it, despite the fact that we may not get much out of it. Right? That's where you would like to function. So function there. But when you realize you're in front of somebody who's not dumb, they just don't want to vote, then you got to pivot to the other part. Well, where do you see the community going? What do you want to see different? What does that look like to you? Right. And then from that discussion, if a discussion happens, you can start talking about other things. If no discussion happens, you got to let it go. You just got to let it go. Because some people, you can't get
Ain't
nothing
gonna
out
do
of
nothing.
them.
Because I think about that. When we had our midterms, not our midterms, our primaries. You know, remember I went back and forth. I'm like, am I going to show up? Am I not going to show up? Do I go? Do I not go? As a person that's definitely, absolutely come November, I'm voting third party. There's no doubt about it. I already know what I'm going to do. And I'm pretty much, unless Superman runs for office, I can't see myself voting.
I
Well,
would never vote for
voting
Superman.
France as a Democrat. Well, I never vote. I have not. I've only voted Republican 2 times in my entire voting history. So me voting Republican is probably not going to happen. I will see a Democrat out there right now that I'm like, yes, yes. But because I knew 2 people in the race, I said, okay, I'm going to show up. And those are the 2 offices I said, okay, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Out of a city where there's 1 million people in Indianapolis, 600,000 are registered to vote. That seems pretty high.
Probably about
Well,
150 voted.
well, you're close, 15%, and that was up. So if the Democrats are going to not screw this up, you're doing good at registering people to vote. And I'll give you your props all day, every day. But it's a difference between registering to vote and actually voting. Those are 2
So
different things.
here's one of the things, and we've had this, discussion back and forth a few times, but inherent to what you just described, the Democrats have to win this.
They have to.
They have to win this.
And I'm saying that as a third party person.
Right.
Because I'm like, I need you
So
to be
you're
the
saying
opposition party.
Democrats don't Democrat this thing up and find a way to lose when you finally have a chance to win. And at the same time, you're saying, but I'm not going to help you win. So if you're talking to somebody in the street who's not that big on voting, and you won't even help.
I'm probably not gonna make that argument to say, unless somebody just straight up says, hey, Tracy, how you vote? I'm like, well, I'm voting third, because I would always say, hey, you do know you can vote third party in the general election. You do know this.
Here's the thing about what your position is. Your position is a principled position. You don't care about any facts on the ground. You don't care about any consequences or outcomes. You only care about your principles. And I know that's true, because otherwise your voting would differ. But it would conflict with your principles, which is why your voting doesn't differ, right? So you're a principled voter. Cool. But that is no different than the person who did not vote. They are also, this is the exact same thing. It's just that their principle is, I'm not going to participate in a broken system.
I feel like if you're not going to participate, then don't say nothing. I don't want to hear you say nothing.
But they would say to you, then you shouldn't say nothing, because what you did didn't mean any more than what I did. Well, so how are you going to tell me not to complain? Why? You shouldn't even complain, because all you did was, you did one more step than me. You walked in there and pushed the button and walked out, but you knew that your vote wasn't going to count towards a win anyway. So we the same. And I think that's where a lot of the argument gets lost. We're the same. All of us are the same. And even the people who go out there and vote Democratic and don't like Democrats, like a person like me, who goes out and votes for the Democrats, no one don't like them jokers. I'm no different than you or anybody else.
I'm getting off the subject here, but did you vote for Warnock?
Yes, I did.
Okay, because I thought you sure gonna say no, I didn't. I'm like, oh, okay.
No, I did, because I am what I view a practical voter. So I'm not voting on my principles. I'm voting on harm reduction. Like that's legit, because the way I view it as a Black voter, that's my real vote in America, is harm reduction. I don't get to vote for the win. I get to vote for who gonna hurt my people less, right? I get to vote for, like, when Trump cut off food stamps, housing assistance, and Medicaid support to the states. When he cut that off, he hurt people I care about. So I voted against that, right? I didn't
not
vote
necessarily
for somebody to win. Right, Warnock. I voted for Warnock because he was running on the Democratic ticket, and I live in a kind of red state. I live in a red state, and for the one period of time, for 6 years, we were going to have the opportunity to have 2 Democrats in the Senate representing Georgia. I voted for that because it matters to me not to send a Republican to Congress. Like, that matters to me. So I don't want to send a Republican. And like, I voted in the last election. Yeah, the last election, I voted for Kamala because it mattered to me what happened in the Supreme Court after what had just happened to Roe v. Wade. So I voted for that. Like, I'm voting to, as I've said to you many times, what at least goes in the direction I want to go. I'm not voting to win. I'm not voting to win because I don't think that my constituency, the Black community, I don't think we're well represented in government. But I do know that if the wrong people get the keys to the car, we're going to be the ones they drive through first.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I get it, but yeah, I'm just like, nope, going get back. Like I said, I know what I'm doing in the general.
Yeah,
I don't.
And I'm not trying to change your mind at all. In fact, that's one of the things that frustrates people when they get to talking about these things. I'm not trying to change your mind. In fact, I'm becoming so despondent that if I could just figure out how to not go crazy, I would stop talking about any of this stuff. I am so sick at heart about how my community addresses politics and how my community addresses each other. Like, and this is my little sad moment right here. Like, the organization I'm trying to build, and I'm okay with it just being me. I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is no one wants to do anything. Like,
Yeah,
we're in the midst of a really, really tough time. And it's about to get way worse.
way worse.
Because consequences are coming. Right? Like, when they struck down the Voters' Rights Act, when they finally took all the teeth out of that thing, immediately, Tennessee and a couple other states, Mississippi, Tennessee, and somebody else, they immediately started passing laws. Immediately. South Carolina trying to get rid of the one that this, right? Like, Alabama has gotten rid of. So it's like consequences are coming. And still, I can't get people to start an organization or give money to their church or give me $5. Like, if y'all all gave me $5, I could buy people diapers. I could pay for kids to get after school help and support. But we don't want to do anything. We all want to just assess the problem. This is my problem with the third party conversations that I tune in on. This is my problem when we're talking about things in our community. Everyone wants to assess the problem, but no one wants to actually commit to doing anything. But as soon as things go wrong, what happens? You start looking for help. I already know, because people are going to be hurting, just like the last round when they cut off support that I just listed a second ago. Guess who people were reaching out to for money? Right? And I'm like, guys, where were you when I was asking for $10? So I'm sorry. I'm really wrestling right now. And I'm trying to keep myself encouraged, and I'm trying to keep doing positive steps. But I swear one day y'all just gonna see that I don't record no more. I don't do nothing no more. And I just go sit somewhere in a corner, because who am I doing this for? I'm literally in this moment right now. It's like, who am I doing this for? I don't know.
Well, I know how you feel. Well, I don't know how you feel, but I feel sort of the same way. It's like, especially when you deal with children. I would say there's nothing for the children to do. Then you push together, you push forth a program and say, here's something for the children to do. But you don't register your children for something to do, but you still make the same. It's like we don't, And y'all know I love being black. I don't know
We don't want to take the
if
initiative or be inconvenienced.
exactly that's it. And then when you're trying to be out here and you're raising money, or I get this question all the time when I was saying, because y'all don't know, I'm trying to start a drama academy. Um, and eventually it's going to be its own not for profit. But for now, I'm just going to our church, and it's like pulling teeth. You can't get, it's like, well, you just said there was nothing for children to do. Hello, it's right here.
Everybody has an idea and everybody has a criticism, but no one wants to actually commit to helping that idea or thing. Like I've fallen for that trick at least 3 times now, where I come up with an idea or something that I'm trying to do, and people say to me, "That's a great idea. That's we need that." So then I build it. Oh, no, I ain't got it.
Yeah, I got 25. Okay, so, and then I just made up in my mind. I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing.
I might.
A drug academy is going to happen because what you're not going to do is to stop me from caring, because I see a group of people that are suffering. And I know the arts may not be the ultimate answer, because I know it's not. I mean, it's just not. But I know the benefits of it. I know it can help students achieve scholastic results. I
Mhm,
know it can help build confidence. I know
mhm.
it can help those things. So I'm not going to say, I don't, I've just made up in my mind. I'm not quitting. Matter of fact, when I get to a point where I say I quit, I think about child me when I was 5 and 6 years old, begging my mother and father, hey, put me in this drama group. Please put me in it. Please put me in it. And they did. And look what it helped me to do.
No, I
Um,
fully agree with you. I agree with all the positive
so
ups and
nothing,
all those
I've
things.
just made up in my mind, nothing is gonna stop me. Period. I don't care if I gotta get children, don't look nothing like me. I don't care. Because if you're gonna sit around and tell me there's nothing for the kids to do, and here's a program right in your face, and you don't enroll your children, you let them sit around, I'm t- I can't convince you. So I'll just move on to the next one. I'm
And
just
you know,
not
it's
gonna.
another thing that's wild, and this isn't just like a gripe thing. This is really these are things that are sitting on my heart right now, and I'm just wrestling with it in real time. People don't want to do it for free, and people don't want to do it for a fee. Like
They just don't want to
the
do it.
well, no, if you were in a position where you were already popular or
Oh, they'll
successful,
jump on it in a minute.
then they would jump on
Oh,
it.
I was waiting the whole time. I was waiting
They
the
pay
whole time.
they pay you $50 a kid, they pay you $100. It doesn't matter. They do it because they want to be seen doing it with you. And that's so frustrating that the people who don't need help can quickly get help, and the people who need help cannot get help. And
It's the same.
that's
It's
rough.
the same thing with church. If you get a congregation that has, I would say, 250 people, that's a normal size. Well, 75 is actually the normal size, but let's just say
Those
you
ones who
got
show up every
250.
day. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What did you say?
I said the 75 are the ones who show up every week.
Yeah. But if you get 250 people, maybe 15 to 20 volunteers. And that's a high number. If you get 15 to 20 volunteers out of a 250 size congregation, so the larger the congregation gets, the less volunteers you actually get.
Until you hit a certain point.
Yep.
Yep. When
And
you get
then
to the
people say,
point where you got as many, 50 and 80 and $100,000 cars in the parking lot as you have regular cars in the parking lot, you will have no problem with finances. You may
nope.
still have trouble with volunteers, but
Yeah,
you
because
will
people
not have
don't
a
want to
problem
buy.
with
Oh,
finances.
boy. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've just made up in my mind. I'm not quitting. I'm not gonna let no. It's just not going to happen. You better find somebody else. Um, and that's just what I've made up in my mind to do, because there's children that need this, and not just children, because someday I'm going to expand it to senior citizens.
Right.
So people need this. People need that release where they're releasing their emotions, and they're sitting on a character and developing that character, and it moves into other portions of their lives. So no, you're not
They
going to stop
need
me.
a positive, constructive avenue to escape this world for just a little while. For just a
Yep.
little while.
Yeah,
And
but
but what's
ask.
I don't know. It's frustrating. And you know what's funny though? It's like my youth program. I'm not frustrated with that. I can see that doing just fine. It's the larger part. That's where I'm
Yeah, baby, oh, well, you
emotionally
got
stuck.
it. Well, maybe you should call this person. No, maybe you should call that person for me. Like telling me who to contact. No, maybe you should
They'll
contact
take
them.
your call.
They'll talk to you. They won't talk to me. Well, you could contact, no. You can contact. You could do it. But people do that. And then when it's successful, because I do believe this will be successful, I believe your program's going to be. I was there the whole time from the beginning. I was
I'm
there.
always
No,
cheering for you.
yeah, I always knew you could do it. And everybody should be in support of it. You ain't did not nan work to do nan thing at nan time.
Yeah, that's the wild part. Like, yeah, that's the wild part. And you know what though? It's in all things though. That's why when they
It
tell
sure
you
is.
when you start a business, don't count on your family and your friends
They
to
the worst ones,
say the
because
worst
they'll
one.
talk you out of it. They'll talk you out of
Yeah,
it. They be
they're
like, "Oh,
so
don't
afraid of
do it."
you. They're so afraid of you failing that they're afraid to contribute to your success. It's the most twisted,
Right,
backwards.
because then ultimately they don't want to see you fail, so they're thinking, "Oh, well, wait a minute, we got bills to pay, and most businesses go out of business, and that,
I don't want to
family
encourage him and then just to have him disappointed
and
later.
fail. It's gonna fail anyway, so why encourage it? I mean,
It's tough.
but don't. It's just like supporting black businesses. People say, "Oh," or any non-white business. I'll say that for our audience. When you
My
purposely
audience, you can
make
say black business.
Oh, well, if I always hear, well, their prices are too high. I'm going where I can get the lowest price. But that's not the lowest price if you think about it. What does Walmart have that a local owned store doesn't have? They have distribution. They can get things in bulk. Their prices can be lower. You should already know that when you go to a locally owned restaurant or car shop, it's going to be higher because they don't have the access to supplies like the Walmarts and the Targets and the
Yeah, they can't. Yeah,
but
but that comes into, and I know we got to finish it because I thought we were going to be done about half hour ago. But
yep,
that goes into
that's
one of the
me.
things that we talked about before, and I want to talk about it in more depth, but I always get distracted. We have to do a better job of explaining the why, um, because like you were just saying, a lot of times our message will be, you need to support black business, and then the people will try it. First of all, it's hard to find them. Okay. Um,
Yep.
you would think it'd be easier than what it is, but it's not that easy.
Easier? No, it's not.
So then you find a black owned business and their prices are higher. Um, Sometimes they're higher out of greed. Sometimes they're higher because it just costs more for them to be in business.
Right.
If you think about it in your personal life, when you go to get your car insurance for some unexplained reason is higher than you expected it to be. Or when you go to the doctor, somehow it just costs more than you expected it to. Like it's almost like there's a black tax that you can't quite put your finger on, but you know that this ain't happening right. And then you know by the numbers that you can work the same job as a peer and you're getting paid less than them. Like that's not just you happening. This is quantified data that tells you this is happening. So you know things are not equal. And yet, when you walk into that black business, you somehow expect their prices to be as low as someone who can cut corners or call in favors or is part of a larger thing. And a lot of that comes from we haven't explained it. We haven't explained the why. We haven't had that value proposition. And then you get to where I was just having my emotional moment. I do try to explain the why. And you know what? They don't care. They're just not there. They don't care. They don't care. All that stuff you saying, blah, 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 blah. The fact remains, I got $10. And I can go over there and spend 8 out of my $10, or I can go over there and spend 12 out of my $10. I'm going to spend
Yep.
8.
And then you have to ask yourself this question. And I'm glad a lady did ask me that. She's like, what are those corporations putting into our community?
Exactly. But we don't ask for any of that.
Like there are, but Walmart is not investing in the black community.
No, it only takes.
Newsflash, but that black owned business is investing in the black community, so it would make more sense to me. Now, of course,
the black business is investing in the black community by simply existing. Like it doesn't have to spend any money anywhere. The fact that it exists, that's a black job. Like
exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. But I'm like, how much has Starbucks invested in the black community? How much has Target invested in? Like nobody asked that question, but you're complaining about, oh, well, their prices are too high. No, they're right where they should be.
We rather spend our money with people who don't need it. This is what we said earlier. They rather spend your money with people who don't need it, but you feel included in something that is successful, than for you to spend the money with someone who does need it, but you think you might be investing in their failure. It is backwards.
It is backwards thinking.
But that's what startups wrestle with, and that's unfortunate. But it's like, come on. Like real quick.
You got to do better.
One thing I wanted to do, but I got some good feedback, which has discouraged me from it. On my website, I have my own website. Technically, I have 2, but I've turned one of them off. I have my own website. I was going to start and just one page on my website. And on that page, then if you're a black business or you serve the black community, I was going to put your ad on the page, right? Good size ad on the page. And basically, in a way, trying to build that green book, right?
Right.
So that you want a plumber, check here. There might be a plumber, local to you. Or you want to go to a barber, check here. There might be a barber that you might want to check out, right? And I'm like, okay, so I come from marketing, and I'm like, look, guys, $50 for the year. The year. That's less than $5 a month. And you'll have that place. And the feedback is nobody wants to do that because I haven't proven myself to be successful. So I don't have enough of an audience. So good feedback. I need to build my audience. That's cool. But you're telling me that I, as a black business, am not worth $5 a month for the potential of you making just one
or
sale.
$2 a month, or $1 a month, or 50 cents a month. I'm like, what type of success? You want me to have Citibank of America success, but my budget is Credit Financial Union.
Yes. And then on top of that, the next pushback would be, well, what if I did it for free? I won't. But what if I did it for free?
Yeah, don't you
You
do that for
still
free.
wouldn't do it.
Nope. Because now you're giving it away. Wow, you giving it away, you can make millions.
You know, it's daunting. But then when I
It
get to
can
be
be.
successful, and everybody's going to be like, "Hey, that idea you had, I'd like to go ahead and get on there," and I'm like, "Well, it's $50 a week," and now you're
Yeah,
like,
now the
"Ray,
price went
no."
up. Yeah, the price went up. You should have got it. And that's the thing. When like I said, I know in my case the academy is going to be successful. I can see it. Like I can literally close my eyes and I can see it. That's what I've been allowed to see. So I guess I don't get discouraged when people want to act a fool. We got to have children. Well, how am I going to recruit children? I'm not a part of any parent group. I'm not anybody's mother. Now I'm somebody's aunt. I'm somebody's cousin.
But I ain't gonna just
But
wander up
when
to
I
every kid and be, "Hey, where's your mama, little boy?"
could you say that again, please? I mean, people just walk up to you. Yeah, okay, sure, make it. But I guess what I'm getting at is when it is successful, don't you come back? Don't you tell me I knew it was gonna be no, shut up and tell the truth. You didn't support. You didn't support. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. Yes, I'm being petty. My middle name should be petty. I don't care because what I will not do and I will not accept it is when somebody's worked their tail off. Now they're successful. You want to jump in. You didn't support. You didn't tell your friends. You could put something on Facebook, and that's literally free.
For free. Yes.
You can
Or you
literally
can
type a
subscribe.
sentence that says, hey, enroll in thesis program for children. Free. It didn't
Well,
cost you
I mean,
anything
people
but
won't even
time.
subscribe. People are stingy on the subscribe. They'll subscribe if they'll look at it and see, okay, well, how many views does this person have, and how many members? Okay, they got 10,000 subscribers. All right, I'll subscribe to this one, and then they'll be like, oh, well, I like this content, but well, he's only got 12 subscribers. I can't subscribe.
Yeah,
What?
it's like, oh, can't do it. I've been stuck at 426 for like at least a month.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
It's wild. People, I'm like, it don't cost you nothing to subscribe. And that's what I will say. Subscribe to this channel. This channel has some really good content. Now, some of it goes above my head because these be getting that financial stuff, and that's just like, I'm like, what? I don't get it, but someday I'm gonna get it, and I'll be like, oh, that's what things was talking about. Got it done. Subscribe. It don't cost you nothing. It costs you $0.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess a couple things. I have to stop making 2-hour sessions, and then I need to definitely. This is me just knowing where I have to improve, and then I have to become more entertaining. Is one thing I've been told. I don't know how to do that. Like
You can't be anybody but you.
yeah, and
But you're just not
definitely got to be
like
more
you
consistent.
are talking like this and no, I don't. You know what? I don't even ask people my opinions of me because I'm like, you don't like me? Oh well, tune out because it's not like you watching anyway. Oh well, that is just it is what it is.
That's fair. Hey, but Tracy, tell people where they can find you, please.
Tomorrow, I am doing a show on the 4th because y'all know I give diddly squats about the 4th of July. I'm actually doing a show tomorrow. We'll be talking about actors who played Superman because I had said, I'm going to do this special. And then we'll do a Sunday show. My schedule remains the same. My Independence Day was Juneteenth, so I don't care about July the 4th. I'll be on at 7 o'clock p.m. And do you want to make an announcement about August the 16th or not?
No, you can do it because I don't know enough about it, and I'm afraid I'll miss it. I have it set in my calendar, but
August the 16th. Now, this is for my 426 subscribers. Every year, I've always done a forum centered around the Black voter, and I've always either done Black independence, I've done Black females, but I've never had a panel of black males. So August the 16th, we're gonna have a forum. So you won't see me because you'll see all African American gentlemen. I've kind of given them the criteria. I know it's in August, but I am expecting a great um turnout. And I want you all to watch it because I think this is one of the most underrepresented, taken advantage of voting groups that there is. And I can't speak to it because I'm a female. I think certain parties, Green Party, Libertarian, they cater to black females and somehow forget there's these people called black males, and they just because they don't exist, they actually do. So if you
Yeah,
want to
we
hear,
are overlooked.
yes, and it's something I'm tired of, and I've made criticisms of the Green. I'm like, you've got to start focusing in on black males. And I'm female and saying this. So I'm like, yeah, so we'll be doing that. So that's August the 16th. But tune in tomorrow. We're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow.
Yep. So everybody, please make sure you tune in to Tracy Carson. Oh, I'll make my other announcement some other time because I don't have it wrapped up. But anyway, hey, if you like this, you made it this far. If you made it this far, definitely
You're
you
doing
should
good.
hit subscribe and like. You know what I'm saying? And please give us feedback and comments and all that good stuff. It really helps. It truly does. I know you hear that on the various people who do the little podcast, but for a small creator like us, it matters, you know? So thank you. Y'all have a good night. For those who celebrate the 4th, you know, enjoy. Uh, and those who don't, well, I hope you had the day off. So that's all I got.